Hello, and welcome to Not Just Books, the library's monthly program about what is happening at the library and in your community. I'm Dolores Greenwald, and I'm the director. Thank you for joining us today. And we've got some very special guests. We've got Sarah McCarthy, who's communications director, Kelsey Williams, who's the program coordinator with the Alzheimer's Association, Tennessee chapter, going to be talking about their walk to end Alzheimer's, which is in Nashville, October 26th. Also, we have Jeffie Nicholson with us, Adult Services Manager. She's going to be talking to us about a new digital book club. So thank you, sit back, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, and I have some very special guests with us today, and we also have a very interesting topic to discuss. We have Sarah McCarthy, Communications Director, and Kelsey Williams, Program Coordinator for the Tennessee chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for joining us today. You've got a huge event coming up, Alzheimer's Walk to End Alzheimer's in Nashville, October 26th. It's going to be at Nissan Stadium, so tell us about it.
So we call Walk to End Alzheimer's the largest support group of the year because it's a chance for people in the community to come together and to raise awareness of Alzheimer's and to raise funds for care, support, and research to benefit all those affected by this disease.
How many years have you guys been doing this in Nashville?
Over 20.
Wow. That's terrific. We, you shared your promotional flyer with us, but it's beautiful and it's got different color flowers. And we were talking before we started taping our conversation here that the flowers have significance. So you want to tell us about the flowers?
Yeah, so each flower represents someone's connection to the disease. So when you come to the walk, there's a tent set up, and it's called the Promise Garden tent. You can go and you can grab your flower. Kelsey may have to help me out with the different ones.
So there's 4 different flower colors that represent how you have been touched by Alzheimer's.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of purple flowers on Walk Day, and purple flowers represent those that have lost loved ones to Alzheimer's or to another dementia. Those that have yellow flowers are currently caregiving for a loved one that is living with the disease. A blue flower is someone that currently has Alzheimer's or another dementia. And the orange flower is for those that don't necessarily fit into one of those other 3 categories, but they believe strongly that we will see a future without this disease.
I love the commercials that I've seen on TV where it goes, there's a person walking that will be cured of Alzheimer's.
The first survivor.
First survivor. That is terrific. I love that commercial. You guys do a lot of important work. One of the things that I've noticed is that when we have something at the library, and we'll talk about that in a minute, it seems to be a very personal disease. Like they'll say, people that's attending a workshop or what have you will say, I'm concerned my husband has it, or I'm concerned my mother or father might have it. Many people that come to our programs it's a personal disease, and I did not really recognize that until the library started working with you guys.
So a lot of people don't realize how prevalent it really is now. So there's 5.8 million Americans living with Alzheimer's, and 120,000 of those are Tennesseans. And it's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. And it's actually the only one in the top 10 without a way to cure it, to prevent it, or even really to slow it down.
And it, you almost think, I don't want to be over dramatic here, but it's almost like a tsunami is coming as the generation, people get older, they're more affected, and individuals have, almost everyone that I know in one way or another, their family has been affected by Alzheimer's or dementia.
I think when people think about Alzheimer's disease, especially young people, it seems like such a far away issue that it's hard for them to connect with it. But I think it's really important to take a step back and realize that our generation is going to be dealing with parents who are facing this disease, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. So it's important to get involved, because that's something that you might be facing down the road.
That's true. Two of you are much younger than me, but I'm part of what is referred to as that sandwich generation, where you may have a kid in college, you may be taking care of your parents as well. It's going to hit millennials and younger at some point. So I'm glad to see you guys involved with this. Tell me a little bit about the walk. Does it start at Nissan Stadium, or?
So that's where we're set up. So we have many generous sponsors from the community that will be there, and we'll have booths that people can visit, learn about what that business does, and they're incredible partners for us in raising funds for this cause. We'll have music, food, dancing, kind of you name it, probably it'll happen at Walk. And so we'll all first be together at the Walk site at Nissan, and then we'll have an opening ceremony. So that's when we do this really powerful ceremony with those flowers. When we talk about this idea of the first survivor, that's also in that ceremony. And then we all kick off and actually go on the walk together. So we all start first at Nissan.
And how long is the actual walk?
I think it's about 2 miles.
I think it's a 2 mile.
Oh, okay.
And it's right through downtown Nashville, so people that participate will walk across the pedestrian bridge. We're hoping to have musicians kind of along the route to make it fun for everyone. But it's going to be really
great.
Yeah, it's going to be great to raise awareness right in the downtown area.
You see a
And
sea
maybe
of
we'll
purple
have
walking.
good weather. Maybe we'll have good weather.
We're hoping so, but fall, you never know.
You never know, But roughly how many people participated last year?
So I know we have about 1,000 people registered for this year's walk. We'll probably have a good number of people register between now and October 26th, the day of the event. I would say maybe 1,200 to 1,500 people, I would guess, which is pretty amazing.
Well, tell us a little bit, how does one get involved if they decide they want to walk? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so we have a website. You can go to alz.org/walk and put in your zip code, and it'll bring up the 3 or 4 walks that are closest to you. There's also a specific Nashville website. It's just a little bit longer. It's act.alz.org/NashvilleTN. So either one of those websites will direct people to our online page. People can register to be a part of the event. It doesn't cost anything. We don't want cost to be a barrier to someone participating with us, but we highly encourage our partners, our walkers, our teams to fundraise, because that's how we fund research and our care and support efforts for those journeying through this disease. And everyone that raises $100 or more will get the event t-shirt. So we don't sell those, but anyone that fundraises $100 will receive the official Walk to End Alzheimer's t-shirt for this year.
So it's a sign up, like if I was going to walk, I'd send out information for people to sign up by donating a certain amount.
Yeah, so you could start a team, and you could invite your friends, your family, your coworkers to participate with you on that team. And you can do fundraising through the end of December. So even if people register now, it's by no means too late to join us on the day of, and it's by no means too late to fundraise either.
Okay. That's interesting. The library has done some programs with you guys. I kind of refer to it as a lunch and learn, but oftentimes people will start talking and what have you. It goes a little longer sometimes than an hour. But tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so from what I understand, this partnership has been in existence about a year now. So we've done kind of 2 different 6-month series of education events at the library, and they happen each month. I believe it's the last Tuesday. Does that sound right?
I know it's on a Tuesday.
I think it's the last Tuesday of each month, and I believe it's 1:30 to 3:30, with kind of that first hour being the education piece, and then that second hour being what you talk about with people asking questions, kind of this Q&A, sharing support group moment for people to get answers to questions and to feel like they aren't alone in dealing with this.
I think Alzheimer's can be really isolating a lot of times. That's what I've noticed when I go to these programs. People feel like they're in their house alone as a caregiver.
Yes.
And so I think it's a really good opportunity for them to get out of the house and to meet other people who are going through the same thing.
I think that's true too. Let's kind of segue for a minute into some of the services that the association does. Because you help out in ways I wasn't familiar with until I started working with you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So one of the services I always talk about first is our 24/7 helpline, because no matter, Alzheimer's doesn't really have a timeline when things get hard or when those rough moments go with loved ones. That might happen at 3 a.m., it might happen at 7 a.m., outside of working hours. So we have a 24/7 helpline that is staffed with master's level clinicians, and people can call anytime and get their questions answered, get assistance, get connected to resources, and that service is completely free to anyone that needs it, anyone that wants it. And it's been a really big help to a lot of our families that are dealing with this, to have someone that they can talk to, because as Sarah said, this can be a very isolating, a very lonely experience, and you feel like you don't know where to turn. So I always try to direct people to our alz.org website, as we have so much information, so many resources available there, in that 24/7 helpline, which is 1-800-272-3900.
And I think that helpline is especially important for like holidays, or I've had people tell me they wake up in the middle of the night and they just feel like they have to talk to someone at that moment. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas Day and your loved one is having a bit of an episode. There's someone that's there and available all the time for you.
That's great. I love that. What about support groups?
So we have a lot of support groups that are available for caregivers, and we also, I believe, have a couple of support groups for those that are in early stages of the disease as well. And so that information is available on our website. They can also contact our local office in Nashville, and we can send that list on. We have many support groups in Williamson County. We have many support groups in Nashville and surrounding areas, up in Clarksville, down to Tullahoma and Lynchburg. And our chapter serves the whole state. So we have support groups all across the state, but our organization's also nationwide. So if people have loved ones that are living in other states across the country, the same services that they can get from our chapter, their loved ones can receive where they are as well.
One of the things that you have on your website that I think is important is, I forgot exactly what you call it. It's 10 signs of Alzheimer's. And because some of the questions that I've come across when we've worked with you at the library has been, well, how do I know? And I didn't come up with this example. I heard this example from somebody that works in the Alzheimer's Association, that forgetting where you put your keys is not unusual. But forgetting what the keys are for, that's a different issue. So, what are some of the signs of Alzheimer's?
So when we talk about the 10 warning signs, the key words that we use is interfere with daily life. So you use that example of misplacing your keys. Normally that's not something to worry about because we are all capable of retracing our steps and being like, okay, well, I first came in the kitchen, then I was in the living room, so let me go to the living room and in the kitchen and go to the places that I just was to see if I set them down. With Alzheimer's, that retracing the steps is not something that they're capable of doing anymore. And so it's so much more than just forgetting.
Yeah.
It's so much more than forgetting people's names. It really is kind of this decline in brain function.
Well, if you're watching and interested in signing up for the walk, it is Saturday, October 26th. And what is the website again?
alz.org/walk. You'll put in your zip code and it'll bring up that Nashville Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kelsey, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And it's an important topic, and I appreciate you being here, and appreciate the Alzheimer's Association work with the library. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm so pleased to have Jeffie Nicholson with me today. She's the Adult Services Manager at the main library here on Columbia Avenue. Welcome.
Thank you.
You and Stephanie from our children's department, y'all are becoming regulars on our show. We have so much to talk about, so much going on at the library. But today you're here to talk with us about Overdrive and American Library Association's joined forces for a nationwide book club.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what Overdrive is, if people don't know what it is.
Well, Overdrive is an ebook and e-audio platform, and they currently even have magazines in it, and our state library has a contract with them so that they're providing a platform and a collection of these items for all citizens of Tennessee to enjoy through their public libraries.
And if I don't know anything about Overdrive, and I come into the reference department, this is one reason why you're here. Tell us how you access these ebooks.
Well, you can come to the library and we'll show you how to go through our website and access the books. So you can go to our website, and if you scroll down just a little, you can go to the Books and More tab here and go either to digital books or e-library collections and then click on Reads. You can also go all the way down to the bottom and just click there on e-library and get to Reads also.
And our website is wcpltn.org. That's how you originally get to our website.
Right.
And once you get to the website, go to the ebooks section, and then does that put you into Overdrive, or what happens?
Well,
then?
once you click on Reads, it is going to take you to the Overdrive website. And then it will ask you for your library, and we're at the very bottom. So you can either click the up arrow and go straight into the W's, or you can go all the way down to the bottom and select, we're like third from the bottom, Williamson County Public Library. And you'll select your library, you enter your library card number for our system, and then it asks for your PIN, and you enter that. And then you'll be in the system, and the Libraries Transformed section, book club selection is right there at the top, ready for anybody to borrow. You can also go, if you have a smartphone or a tablet, you can download the Overdrive app or the Libby app. Both of them access the same ebook platform, and both of them have slightly different utilities for accessing the materials.
I've heard a couple of folks tell me how much they like the Libby app because they think it's really easy to use. You used the term a second ago about e-audio. Now, some people might not have heard that before, so tell us a little bit about what e-audio is.
Well, we've always had audiobooks, and we've gone from having them on cassette tapes to CDs to MP3 disc, and now you can download them straight to your devices and have them play. So you can enjoy listening to a story during your commute, or I know fall break is coming up. You can download audiobooks that are family friendly and listen to them as you travel to your destination.
Yeah, I often like to listen to books as I'm on the road, and that's one of the ways that we can do it. Right. Is through smartphone. We also have, really quickly, RB Digital.
We do.
And we also have a tool called Hoopla.
Right.
So this is one way you can access ebooks and e-audio is through Overdrive, but we also have some others as well.
Well, and that's why we don't have a direct link to reads on our website, is because we have these other resources, and we'd like for everyone to be aware that the e-library has separate options. The RB Digital has a wonderful collection of juvenile and teen audio titles, and Hoopla has music. You download the whole album, and it has the ebooks, it has the streaming audio, and we have Flipster, which is the online magazines to read too. So there's a variety of formats.
Well, going back to Overdrive, American Library Association and Overdrive, they have joined together for a nationwide book club, which is kind of fun. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a collaboration between Booklist, the ALA Libraries Transform Initiative, and Overdrive and Libby, which are both provided, I think, by, I'm never sure how to say the overarching name, Rakuten?
Rakuten, yeah.
Rakuten, yes.
Rakuten. ROKU.
TEN.
Yeah, something like that.
We love you, we just don't know how to say your name. And they have all worked together, and the ALA editors picked out the title After the Flood, and let me go back, by Cassandra Montag. And we actually do have a print copy of that. It's currently checked out because I went to see if I could find it to bring. And it is in a post-apocalyptic story where the earth has been flooded, and now there are just mountaintop communities, and people travel via boat, kind of like that old Mel Gibson movie, Waterland or whatever that was. And this story focuses on a family, a woman who and her daughter who are living on a boat and traveling between the communities. And when their town was flooded, her husband took one of her daughters, and she hasn't seen her in 7 years. And when she's visiting one of the communities, she discovers her daughter is still alive.
Oh, wow.
So after 7 years, she decides to go and try to find her daughter. And there's a lot of thrills. It's a risky endeavor, but we all know, what wouldn't we do for our own children?
Yes, absolutely. And again, the title is called After the Flood by Cassandra Montag. Sounds like a motion picture in the making, doesn't it? Because I was just thinking, I was picturing as you were talking, if it's done right, it could be a good movie.
Yeah, it has the tagline on the book cover, "Courage is a force of nature." So.
Ooh,
yes.
I like that. I like that. And this is one of the, is this incentive going to be carried on after this book, do you think?
I believe so. This is their October pick. It's available for everyone to download from October 7th through the 21st. There's a hashtag for talking about the book and carrying on the online conversation, which now I can't find. Hashtag LT, capital L, capital T, book pick. And so if you go and you put that in right now and search it just via Google or on Twitter, you'll see different people talking about the book as they read it and enjoying it.
Well, we've got one other quick thing to talk about, and that is also coming from the American Library Association, and that is regarding ebooks and publishing. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, just in the recent last 6 weeks, the Macmillan Publisher CEO announced a new initiative as to how they're going to sell ebooks to public libraries. And the way they've decided that would be best to do it is that we will be allowed to buy one title of a new popular title in the ebook format for 8 weeks, which anybody who's been using Reads and the Overdrive and Libby apps knows that you go on there and you can see the new Reese Witherspoon novel, for example, has 276 holds on it.
Or Where the Crawdads Sing.
Where the Crawdads Sing.
Reads is a statewide thing, so you're going to see a long list for
And
that
those
one.
aren't necessarily Macmillan authors and titles, but they do have a lot of popular authors and titles. And, for example, they own a lot of smaller imprints, such as Tor Books, which has a lot of sci-fi and fiction in it. If you like the Expanse series and the book series, as well as the TV show. They have said they'll sell us one copy for 8 weeks, and they're going to cut the cost, so it won't cost us $60, it'll be $30. And then after 8 weeks, we can add an additional copy. And it's just... that's depriving our communities of the opportunity to have these ebooks. When you look at the studies have shown that ebook sales actually have kind of flattened out, whereas library sales are rising. And it just cuts to the heart of our services that we provide, in that we believe in information for all.
So we're going to have information at the main library and branches, but if you want other information, you can go to ALA's website, eBooks for All.
eBooks for All. You can Google the hashtag eBooks for All. You can also go online, and there's a petition to sign. Right now, Macmillan is the only publishing company that's doing this, and the fear is that the other publishing companies will do this, and it will severely damage the library's interactions with the community, because not everyone's aware of why we wouldn't have 2 or 3 copies of a best-selling author's book from these publishers. And not everybody's going to be interested in digging into all of this and all the different ways that we look at the different publishers, how long we can buy an ebook for them, when we have to rebuy it if there's still holds on it. A lot of them only let us have ebooks for 26 checkouts or 2 years. And then we have to repurchase at a higher price than the consumer pays at Amazon.com.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but you can go to the eBooks for All website, or you can come by and talk with some very passionate people about this at the library. Thank you, and thanks, Jeffie.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
When I lost my sight, the only thing I had was reading.
Whatever your needs are, 99.9% of them can be met by the NLS program.
You can choose from large print or braille or audio.
It's a free service. It's amazing how much you can get.
For information about the Braille and Talking Book program by the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
Thank you for joining us today. I'd also like to thank my special guests, Sarah McCarthy and Kelsey Williams with the Tennessee chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, and a special thank you to Jeffie Nicholson, Adult Services Coordinator at the main library on Columbia Avenue. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and also look at our website, wcpltn.org. Find out what we are up to at the library. Also, sign up for our weekly email. You can do that and find out what programs we are offering. So until next time, explore your world and read.